listen, let's start to wrap up the round. So, first of all, talk me through Ivanchuk Carlsen.
Well, I mean, pretty much not a very interesting game because it sort of petered out as soon as it started with Ivanchuk probably forgetting his preparation and really not being able to show anything in the game. I think it probably went like a number of other games did. I don't think there was a single new move played there. I would imagine, and ended in a draw by repetition with actually both players having to play the moves they did. So there was no. It's not that they didn't want to play, but there was nothing really to play for because they had to repeat moves.
But of course, the draw suits Magnus very well. So I think he would have been happy with a short draw, and also, you know, gives him some time to rest. Okay, Ding Liren against Wesley So.
Yeah, that game was much more interesting, or it seemed so for a while, because Wesley came well prepared with the move G5, keeping the sacrifice pawn on H4, and the few games that we did see in the database, the players chose to follow one of them basically, an old game between Geller and Weiser, where. Or rather Weiser and Geller, where Black drew eventually by perpetual check, even though in that game Black misplayed it, and White did not take advantage of it. In this game, everything went according to plan. Everything played perfectly, and the game ended in a repetition of moves, basically. So no new ideas were shown in that game, except that we could say that probably Ding Liren did not come up with anything of value that can show that White has an advantage there. So Wesley came better prepared for that game, and the game ended in a draw.
Okay, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave against Radoslav Wojtaszek.
Yeah, that game was fantastic. It had a real oomph to it to begin with. It seemed like Wojtaszek came up with a new move, King D8, to which it looked like Maxime was prepared for, but something went wrong in the analysis. And as the fireworks settled down, it turned out that the position was just pretty much a drawish opposite color bishop's ending, or some other type of ending could have been another kind of pretty drawish ending. Even though there were fireworks, queen sacrifices, double checks, and forks and pins in it, but it ended in a sort of like engine analysis type draw. Although it seems to me that Black's position is a little bit suspect. I would try to find something more serious for White after King D8. I think it is possible, but time will tell.
Okay, but King D8 looked like World Championship preparation to me from Wojtaszek. Remember, he was one of Anand's seconds. So Rajabov against Aronian.
Rajabov against Aronian was another very similar sort of situation as in a couple of other draws in this round, where players went all the way down to an ending from the opening moves in the Marshall Gambit. Basically got to a position which is technically drawn, but some exact moves have to be played. And Aronian simply played those moves, and the game ended in a draw. Nothing really that interesting, because there wasn't really. Maybe there was a little nudge in there somewhere that Rajabov tried. We'd have to take a look. H3, maybe it was something a little bit later. The point is that the position is still very drawish, because there's just not enough material to really prove an advantage for White.
Okay, so moving on to Luc van Velde against Ho Yifan.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. It could have been extremely exciting with Yifan choosing the controversial B takes C6 variation of the Sicilian, which, as you pointed out, is always prone to some good attacking chances by White. And basically, White use those attacking chances, sacrifice the pawn, and that's when the world women's champion lost her nerve, and instead of coolly taking another pawn, decided that it's time to continue finish development. But that is exactly what Luke was waiting for, and he pounced with a very strong attack, since White had a dark squared bishop and black's fianchetted bishop was exchanged off, and White got it to a mating position very, very shortly after that.
Yeah, not a good game for the women's world champion at all. Okay, moving on. Ivan Šarić against Anish Giri.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. Giri clearly out-prepared his opponent. He played a very nice setup with the pawn on h4, the rook on h6, and that really stopped White's attacking chances, which in the Sicilian is almost like a death bell. I mean, you have to really start thinking, what do I do? How do I change the situation around so that Black doesn't just have a free reign in advancing the queenside pawns? And Šarić could not figure it out. He decided to spend that time in trying this attack on the kingside, which was doomed to fail because there's nothing else to add to the attack except the rook and the queen, which Anish just defended with his rook on h7. And at that point, Black had a very clear idea of what he was going to do, and White had no idea how to continue the game. And so eventually, Black simply won a pawn by a temporary sacrifice of the exchange on c3, and then just converted the advantage with exact moves. Two nice moves by Giri, queen f2 and bishop e4, nice in-between moves that ended the game pretty much.
We should say also that, this is a classic positional advantage that Black often gets in the Sicilian with, this weak pawn on e4. And just also to mention for those interested in the theory that e5 was Giri's improvement over his game against Radjabov from an earlier round here, which ended in a short draw. So e5 looks like a big improvement. Okay, moving on to our final game, Bahadur Jabava against Fabiano Caruana. What a tragedy this was.
That's a tragedy. That's really the game of the round, I would say, because it just shows you how much energy Bahadur has, but even the most energetic people sometimes run out, and he ran out just when he was coasting towards a draw, it seems, after an unbelievable display of character and a double exchange sacrifice, which you rarely see. Double exchange sacrifice for 2 pawns, which kept him in the game and forced finally Caruana could not deal with it. He said, just, that's it, can't take it anymore. I'm going to give one of these exchanges back. Probably did not see that he's winning. Maybe he thought he's better, but decided, okay, let me just do this. And then all of a sudden at that point, Bahadur loses his energy and misses a very easy and obvious attacking procedure from Caruana, who of course immediately notices it and wins.
There you go. It's about concentration at this level. It's all about concentration and consistency. Okay, let me just finish up by giving the scores at the top. Magnus Carlsen still leads by a point with 7.5. A point behind Wesley So and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave on 6.5. Then we have 4 players on 6. Vasil Ivanchuk, Ding Liren, Anish Giri, and now Fabiano Caruana joins them. They're all on 6 points. So we've got, 3 rounds to go now. And Carlsen still looking like the hot favourite to win the tournament. Max, thanks very much for your analysis today. Excellent stuff. And hopefully we'll meet up at some point virtually or perhaps even in New York or London or wherever. Okay, absolutely. Thanks everyone for watching.
It's great to see you and catch up.
Okay, yeah. Good to see you too. Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully join us soon again on the ICC.